Midday of the week. Might be my last day I do the show all week long. I've decided I may just pull down. I've had it. I've had it with you.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Lasted this long?
I mean, it's all house money from here.
I've got the show today with Hays Carlyon. Then on the road tomorrow, Jaguar, our charter goes kind of mid-afternoon, so I will be gone on that. But Rick Ballou and you will have a fun time doing the show. You, Rick, and JJ. That's a good team right there now. And then there's no Frangie Show on Friday because we get the ball game. So, right. So this is my last show of the week. But I'm looking forward to I am looking forward to this one. I look forward to all of them. But you got the starters for a half, so we'll talk about that. So we'll talk some Jaguar football today. We got a lot of stuff to get to. We are loaded up. Today's one of those days now. We got all kind of stuff we're trying to get to today. So we're looking forward to that today on the program. All right, a couple thoughts as we go. By the way, Brett Hastings is coming by in a little bit. We're going to have a really fun sports in courts. There's apparently, I hope I get the story right, a youth hockey team where a player got suspended because he got paid to be a travel player, and then he couldn't play in high school, or I may be getting the story wrong. Brett will clarify it for us. But here's the deal. It really got me thinking, with all the NIL stuff, if you get paid to play in any way, shape, or form, are you ineligible to play college sports? Or is that over now?
I think it's over now. I don't know how it couldn't be.
But just last year, Zion Pullen, the Florida transfer point guard, had to miss the first 3 games because he played in an NBA developmental league. Now, I don't think he got paid or not. But do you remember that?
I do.
He had to miss 3 games. Now, maybe that wasn't a compensation thing.
I think it was something like his trip was paid for or something. It was something maybe,
like that. Yeah. Well, is that day over now? And that's one of the things I'm going to ask. Legally, is it over? And this youth hockey situation will be a good precursor. And Brett's really good about that stuff. That's why we do sports in courts, because we have questions like that tend to arise. So we'll certainly talk about that today on the program. That's going to be a lot of fun. The Knowles, by the way, are traveling today. Now, remember we heard at one point Thursday? They're traveling today.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, so they're on. I just heard Max say they're on the road today, which gives them some time to get used to it. I got a thought or two about that game. I got a thought or two about sports psychology as it relates to the Florida Gator football season. Now, you don't link those two together very often, do you?
Not.
That's what I do, Hayes. I bring the stuff that you wouldn't have thought about. But I got a thought about it.
Can we go right to that one? That one's good. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we'll get to that coming up a little bit. But I'll tell you kind of my thought about it. Here's how I'll tease it. So think about it, all right? The whole Gator football season, we know the storyline. The storyline is everyone thinks their football team's better than others think. They actually have a pretty good little team, better team, maybe one of the best teams they've had in a while, maybe their best team since 20, maybe not as good. But the word is they've got the best roster they've had in a while. A veteran quarterback, you know the drill. More portal players than they've had before. But they play this brutal schedule, and their coach is on the hot seat. So here's what I wonder, Hayes. Does the psychology of all that press too hard on the players? Is a player tighter when he plays Miami because he knows if he doesn't make a good play on this play, does he press too hard that they could lose because Miami's pretty good? And if they lose that game, there's one step closer to getting their coach fired. Does the hot seat give you more? Does the coach being on the hot seat put more pressure on the players? And will Florida cave to that? I think it's a fun topic.
It is a fun topic, and it's one of those things that you just never know. I mean, you won't know until it's over, and you get some feedback from players on what it was like. But certainly they have to be very cognizant of the fact that Billy Napier goes into year 3, and it's been a disappointing first 2. I don't see how you could possibly block that out. Now, will it be a rallying cry, or will it be something that they just sort of have to compartmentalize? It feels like it's a rallying cry, but that's probably how it's always going to feel.
Right.
This time a year before the season begins.
It's always a rallying cry before the season.
They definitely feel like a team that has a profound sense of no one believes in us at all except for us. But it doesn't matter. As long as we believe in ourselves and what we can do as a team, we'll be fine. Again, but we'll see how that plays out. And it's interesting now, you get all these behind-the-scenes look. Now it's edited, and they're going to show you things that are positive, but, the University of Florida puts out these fairly lengthy videos every couple of weeks in training camp. That gives you a sense of the guest speakers and also just the mood of the team. It looks very positive. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that once they take on their second loss, that's where I think that pressure is going to get really mounted up on them. Particularly if they lose 2 in their first 6 games.
Right. See, Miami's players have the same pressure. They have a bad year, he's out. Just like if Florida has a bad year, he's out. But even if you lose the first one, if you're Miami, you're probably winning 3 or 4 of the next ones. So that should make for less pressure in the first one. Because Florida, if you lose that first one, a couple weeks later, here comes Texas A&M.
Right.
A couple weeks later, here comes Kentucky and Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, if he loses to Miami, Texas A&M, and Kentucky, it's over.
Right.
I mean, it's over at that point.
Yeah. So certainly the psychology of it. We'll talk about that later on in the program. The other thing I want to talk about, we're going to hear from Gabe Davis today, which he is a real X factor because for whatever reason, he's not a guy we've talked about a great deal. You think of it, he's not a guy that's gotten a lot of attention, not just our show, because there's been so much attention on Brian Thomas Jr. We know what a big impact Christian Kirk had and the loss of Christian Kirk had. He might have the best pass receiving tight end in the league. But, boy, number 0 might have a lot to do with all this, if you think about it. A whole lot to do with it.
Without a doubt. Again, he's just 25 years old. He's been in the league for a long time, obviously, because he's with his second team, after completing a contract in Buffalo. But, yeah, Gabe Davis certainly has a lot of explosive ability. Trevor Lawrence was asked about him at his press conference today and had some wonderful things to say about him. But again, beyond the just normal, he's great and he brings a lot of talent to the offense, like specifically going into the things that Gabe brings to the offense, how he approaches it, how he makes Trevor's job a little bit easier. So it was really insightful stuff from Trevor Lawrence today on Gabe Davis as well.
What did you think of Gabe? Your first one-on-one?
No, I talked to him in OTA, so it's the first one in training camp.
Okay.
But I talked to him in May, and yeah, I think that I didn't get, Trevor talked about his personality and how much of an extrovert he is. That doesn't come across as much in the interview. He's very nice, but he's not like, he's not, over the top extrovert.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly. But which is fine. I mean, there's a time and a place for all that stuff too. And Gabe Davis is a professional who, knows that. So, but I mean, in terms of the football stuff we covered, I mean, I thought it was really informative, and he's excited. He's in a really good place. He compares this stop to Buffalo a little bit, and I mean, I think so far the experience has been above Gabe's expectations, and it's exciting. Again, you're talking about a guy, if you count playoffs, and why wouldn't you? Those games are even more important.
Right.
He's caught 33 touchdowns in his career on 185 career catches.
Yeah.
Think about that.
A high percentage.
He's caught 185 passes in this league, and on 33 of them, he has scored. So if he's your third option,
right,
which he is,
and
that's pretty remarkable. And that's if Brian Thomas doesn't jump. We'll see the pecking order, but you have to think going in, it's Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas.
Right, and Brian Thomas is a touchdown maker of sorts, too.
Absolutely. At
least that's what he has been. You never know if what he did in college is going to translate, but it typically does for first rounders. So yeah.
Press Taylor said today Brian Thomas has 4.2 speed. He was not asked directly about his speed, but in talking about Brian, he said he's a 4.2 guy. He ran a 4.33 at the combine. If Brian Thomas has gotten faster since, I mean, if he plays at like sub 4.3, that's at his size. Yeah. That is absurd.
He's really.
How did he fall out of the top 10?
Well, that's
if
the
he
thing.
is a sub 4.3 guy at that height.
That's the thing. Is he? In addition to being big and strong, he is so fast. Everybody you talked about him, he's really fast. Like really, really fast. So we'll see. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today on the program. But let's start it with Sports and Courts. After this timeout, Brett Hastings will come in and we'll talk about who's eligible and who's not if they get paid as a youth. The fun topic. Sports and Courts kicks us off on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
There's a new one-stop shop for all things Florida State. Subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel, up-to-the-minute updates, analysis, and more. Plant the spear and subscribe to 1010XL Seminoles channel today.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. It's time to get in on the action before these lines start to move. Take advantage of their live betting also, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And if you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to grab a welcome bonus up to $1,000. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Gators are a 2-point underdog in the Swamp against the Canes. The over-under is 54 points. FSU an 11-point favorite over Georgia Tech in Dublin with an over-under of 55.5. And the Jaguars are a 3.5-point underdog at the Dolphins. The over-under is 49 points. There are a ton of cool prop bets as well. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a bonus up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Are you thinking about upgrading your outdoor space with artificial turf? Well, you're going to love working with Caleb at Sunshine Turf. He's genuine, always on time, and really trustworthy. Frank Frangie here. We had Sunshine Turf design and install turf at the Bragan Baseball Complex, and it's gorgeous and maintenance-free. From putting greens to pet runs around pools and more, Sunshine Turf can do it all. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically, if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Feeling the heat, Jacksonville? Cool down with Bold City Heating and Air. From repairs to energy-efficient installs, we do it all. Family-owned and trusted since 2016. We offer clear pricing, NATE-certified techs, and unbeatable service. Call Bold City Heating and Air today and experience the bold difference. Bold City AC, keeping you cool. Bold City AC. Visit boldcityac.com.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Keeping up with Seminole Nation.
Join the Noles and their road to repeat as ACC champs.
Stay close to the Seminoles with the Florida State Seminole Report. Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation, with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
Bold City Brewery, established in 2008, is the oldest craft brewery in Jacksonville and proud to celebrate 16 years of brewing greatness in Duval. 2 locations serving delicious beers, seltzers, ciders, all produced in-house. Check out Bold City downtown on Bay Street or hit the production house and restaurant on Roselle Street in Riverside. Bold City Brewery, with something for everyone, brewing great beers and serving fantastic food to all of Duval. Log on and be bold. BoldCityBrewery.com.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker. Because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Veterans, did you know VA mortgage rates have plummeted and you can now access up to 100% of your home's equity and turn that into cash right now? Hey, it's Roger Moore, President and CEO of Loan Pronto, announcing our VA Equity Advantage program. This VA offer can get you $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 cash out with no junk fees and no hassle, with APRs in the 5s. You can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, car loans, and get one easy-to-manage payment. Veterans we help save on average $850 per month. And listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6.25%, we can do a streamlined refinance with no income verification and no appraisal, saving you hundreds a month. At Loan Pronto, we respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now and ask about our special VA Equity Advantage program. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports in Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
Brett Hastings is here talking about all the legal issues with his resplendent in his blue and orange, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Wow.
He's ready.
You are ready, aren't you? Look at he can't wait.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's about still 10 days. Still about 10 days, right? Have you heard?
These are might be the last 10 days that you're undefeated, It's the last couple of years.
The undefeated
I've learned,
about to end.
let's go hard early.
Soak it up.
Go hard early because the last 5 games don't tend to work out.
We have an interesting story, a lawsuit in Canada about who's eligible and who's not, and why should somebody tell me that story? Because I want to take it to what happened.
America.
Okay.
And there was a young man who played juniors hockey, Canadian hockey.
Okay, got it.
Okay, which is one of the primary ways that pro hockey players make it to the NHL. It's a big league.
Okay.
And he's suing because he actually just went, a lot of times when you go on a case like this, you really want to kind of get the best person you can, right? Because they're trying to seek to make this a class action as well. They're saying that the NCAA is committing what? An antitrust violation. Okay. Much like all of the other lawsuits that we've talked about.
Okay.
They are boycotting those individuals who participated in this junior hockey league, and they're saying that he should be able to play for 2 real reasons. First and foremost, European players are eligible to come over and play collegiate hockey. So they're saying, well, why not us, right? And then the second one is they're saying that, hey, everybody's getting paid for name, image, and likeness. So the fact that I took a couple of $100 to pay in an exhibition thing should not make it so that I'm not eligible to play here in the league. And so he sued 10 universities at or near the Canadian border, and they're seeking to have this class action. And they're saying that as a result, the NCAA is committing an antitrust violation and picking them out.
So where do you think it goes from here?
Slam dunk win. Okay. I think the biggest problem for them and we'll talk a little bit about the name, image, and likeness, is that why are European, why and they go through and list in their complaint and say, so-and-so played at, Boston University. He's from Sweden. He played on a Swedish professional team. Like, how's that different, right? Because if you look back, and obviously there's no bigger baseball guy than Frank Frangie, but that's the one thing that we've seen in the States where people, if you're really, really good for years and years and years, you just went straight to the pro, right? Then we had, the Kobe, we had LeBron, we had some of those instances, but it was real clear. If you were paid by a professional sports organization in that sport, then you couldn't play, right? Over the years, we had Deion Sanders. He got paid while he was at Florida State, but by the New York Yankees, and that allowed him to go and play football for, Coach Bowden. So what they're saying now, too, the second is it's all a sham, right? Name, image, and likeness. They're trying to structure it in such a ways, and it really is pay for play. Now, I think that's already a winner argument, but it's a double winner argument, if you can, that European players are eligible. So why wouldn't a Canadian player?
All right, so take it to sports we follow more closely. If a high school football player got paid to go to a camp and be an instructor, could he not play college football? If he got paid for football, I know if he got paid to run track, he could still play college football, just like the Deion. Okay, but what if he got? And maybe you don't know this answer, but let's talk through it.
I think he'd be eligible for that. I mean, what the NCAA in the past has said is once you elect to play for the NBA or its feeder systems,
right?
Okay, you play for Major League Baseball and its feeder systems, we're going to give you up, right? Looks like we were talking about Florida Miami off air, right? Cam Ward is making more money playing for the Hurricanes than he would in the NFL right now.
But that's accepted, though, right?
Right, but you got to understand, it's really about labeling, right? He's being paid to play at Miami, but Miami is not paying him, right? And so that's but that's a really important thing legally. So you can put together all of these deals. Does he care who's paying him? No. He says, all right, if I go down there and I play for the U, how much money's going in my bank account? And then a bunch of lawyers, some agents, and other people are going into labeling. What they're saying in this lawsuit is these young people are getting paid now, so you can't have that same definition, right? The name, image, and likeness is structured in such a way that people can get people to their schools. So why should this young man get $800 or whatever it was for 2 exhibition hockey things and not be able to go get this college education?
So, but again, back to football, baseball, whatever. If Cam Ward makes $2 million to play for, let's say Cam Ward was a junior, for the sake, not a senior, made $2 million to play for Miami. He then can transfer to Tennessee next year and be eligible, even though he got paid $2 million to play football. But if he signed with the Toronto Argonauts in Canadian football and made $1,000 to show up at a practice, he now could never again play college football.
Correct.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird.
It is weird. The $2 million he made while playing at Miami wouldn't hurt him, but the $1,000 he made to practice with the Toronto Argonauts would make him ineligible.
Right.
That's what's crazy.
Well, think about the precedent. You want weird? What happens if the ace in the bullpen at the Jack Shrimp says, I don't think I'm going to make it to the major leagues? Right. Can he now go play for Florida and get in the College World Series? I think that's what's going to be interesting, right?
What do you think the argument would be on that? Or how do you think it would hold up?
That's a tougher argument right now because UF's not going to say, hey, we're just going to disregard all of these things and throw out the season and clearly violate the amateurism things. So there's got to be legal precedent by way of coming through these things. Then and only then would the schools allow it to happen. But, I think it's a possibility in the new world that we live in.
This is kind of getting us a little off of, so I apologize, but somewhat still on the path of it. Do you think we'll ever see an athlete who is a great college player but has no pro prospects? Let's just say college football. Big in term, like it's a 5'9", 190-pound quarterback who is amazing in college but has no NFL prospects.
Antoine Randall.
Right. So because of now he's making money, millions maybe, if he's playing at a high level in college football, but his eligibility expires. Do you think he has a lawsuit to say, well, I'm suing you over my eligibility running out because this is how I'm making my living, and I can't go make this kind of money anywhere else, so I should be able to play college football for as long as I want to play college football, as long as they'll have me?
I don't think so. I think ultimately that we would substantiate or validate, how long it is and still have it somewhat connected to the mission of education to go in there. Could you go in and get a PhD or whatever? I did see something on social media. There's a young man playing for the Hurricanes in his 9th season of college athletics, and the freshmen that he was playing with, were in 3rd grade.
How about that? Yeah, the odd thing is the ninth grade. He's the sophomore. So
Right. Well, it also makes you wonder, like, if they break off, if the SEC and Big Ten did break off and basically form their own professional organization where the education component was not going to exist, would they keep eligibility limits, or would they just say, look, if these kids can play here as long as they want? If they want to go to the NFL, they certainly can. But
why do you think college athletics would still always want to adhere to that? What do you guys think?
Tell me.
Because it's tax-free right now.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think they're going to want to be, quote, professional organizations that pay these players.
That's a great point.
Because right now we know that they are these huge businesses that are making tons of money, but the University of Alabama and each of these other things still, have these tax breaks that these other professional organizations don't have. They're going to stay out of the business of being the ones to pay. I think you're going to see the corporate sponsors, Jordan, Pepsi, all of these other groups, and then obviously super affluent alumni being the ones to pay.
Final question on this, because it's a great topic. Apart from performance-enhancing drugs or behavior or whatnot, that's different. But do you ever think we'll see the day when nobody is ever again ineligible because of amateur status? Well, like the story you're talking, like from now, you see my point. From now on, anybody can play their 4 years of college football. Anybody, no matter where they've made money. Again, I'm not saying if they should be suspended for behavior.
You're excluding behavior.
Yeah, I'm saying you can no
if somebody's committed a sexual assault,
right, I'm not talking about
things
that.
like that, you're going to be out.
I'm saying you no longer can be suspended for anything that has to do with money. Are we ever getting to that point? Because we're closer than we've ever been.
Yeah, it's scary enough to say.
Yeah,
I think that possibility's there. I think what's going to be interesting is we're going to see the market regulate itself, because when these super boosters step up and then they pay the money for this player who doesn't pan out, I wonder how long that's going to go.
Yeah.
Right? Like there isn't the same type of returns. That's a 100% ego investment.
Yeah.
We all want Trevor to work out, and for the record, I think he will work out. Right? But at the end of the day, the way things are structured for Shad, the Jaguars are still going to make money, and they're going to keep valuing. But I think we're going to see things regulate in college football, because right now there's so much money going in because people think this is a way that it's going to happen for them. But I think the returns aren't going to be there, and that the market will come back a little bit. These guys are going to get paid, that's for sure. They're going to be structuring it in such a way that it looks like name, image, and likeness, but we know it's pay for play. But I think the numbers are going to come back. I don't think anybody's going to go get the deal that Jaden Rashada was supposed to get. So.
Brett Hastings checking in. That is Sports and Courts. Brett's from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Great work as always. Thank you, Brett. We appreciate it. All right, we've got Hays headlines on the other side. We'll come back in a minute. I want to remind you, it's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday. We sure appreciate our friends from Ricketts. They were out at the house yesterday.
Oh, good.
Oh, they were doing all kind of stuff, redoing my kind of office into a little studio,
nice.
The lighting stuff up. Man, they're good. They do so many good things at our home. They then left there went up to our ballpark at walk-off. So if you want an electrician you can trust, call my friend Zach Ricketts and all the folks at Ricketts Electric. The number is 904-320-5960. 320-5960. The best electricians in town, Ricketts Electric. Hays headlines are next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Mia here, get it all when you shop Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Just listen to this. Over 275 SUVs, over 200 cars, over 100 pickups, over 50 luxury vehicles. That's over 600 vehicles, and they're all in one location. Arlington Pre-Owned even has 125 vehicles under $18,000. Plus, you get Arlington's 60-day exchange program and financing help from their Credit for Everyone program. Shop online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
If you're from the South, you know all about fried green tomatoes and BLTs. So put some South in your mouth and get to Bono's to try the fried green tomatoes appetizer served with Reggie Ranch and one-of-a-kind Bono's BLT with smoked brisket, lettuce, and fried green tomatoes served with one southern side. Frank Frangie here, and I'm telling you, I love fried green tomatoes, and this sandwich is out of sight. So head to your local Bono's today. The fried green tomatoes appetizer and BLT is a summer sensation. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Hey, it's Matt Hays, and there's nothing quite like the ease and breeze of First Coast summers. Unless, that is, you have a clogged drain or your hot water heater doesn't work. But that's where the experts at Fenwick Home Services have you covered. Fenwick offers 24/7 same-day service and can fix any plumbing problem you have. With free same-day estimates and guaranteed repairs, the pros at Fenwick Home Services get the job done right and get it done right the first time. You can also save on future emergencies with $50 off any repair. Click it or call day or night. FenwickHomeservices.com.
Lauren Brooks here. Circa Resort and Casino has an incredible all-in package for Duval in December. For only $500, tax and resort fee included, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. Join us Heels Friday night for a Jacksonville pep rally with specials and giveaways. To book the Jacksonville game day getaway and join the Heels in Vegas, visit CircaLasVegas.com today.
Every Monday, David Garrard calls the signals and looks for you on Jaguars Today from 10 to noon.
Look past left prong. Oh, ready.
Brought to you by WaterboyJacks.com.
Duval.
On 1010XL.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect pair for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com, WM.com, and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler. Go Team WM, and as always, Duval!
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at AMCOJacksonville.com.
Firefighters, paramedics, police officers. They take care of us, and at AMCO, we're proud to take care of them. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. As an essential business, we work on every kind of car repair with flexible financing and extra safety precautions. Essential, reliable, trusted. That's the men and women who are there for us, and it's our honor to be there for them. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia. AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care.
What's changed totally inside and out? The Kuhn Flowers massive storefront, and yes, they've totally remodeled the showroom inside too. This is Frank Frangie, and the next time you drive by, stop and smell the roses at Kuhn Flowers.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Safety Darnell Savage explained the importance of the connection the secondary and pass rushers have in order to execute on defense. The coverage unit and guys up front are not on the same page. That opens up the field for the quarterback, allowing the offense to move the ball downfield, on the ground, or in the air.
Yeah, I mean, we work with each other. Kind of goes hand in hand, you know. If we're not covering back there in the back end, quarterback's getting the ball out quick, and they not necessarily getting home, and we covering all day, then we back there fighting for our lives. So it goes hand in hand. So we just, just holding each other to a high standard on both sides, and just trying to keep that same pace and that same intensity every single day.
Savage will make his first appearance of the preseason this Friday night against Atlanta after losing the red non-contact jersey at practice this week. I'm Max Fink here with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Barra & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. JJ LaSalva is here. I'm Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, here we go. Jags at Falcons. Storylines that you will be following in this game.
Yeah, number one, watching the ones. I don't care who they're playing against. Watching the ones. Watching Trevor. We get a half of Trevor. We only got a handful of plays. Watching Travis Etienne, we got a half of him. We get to see Brian Thomas working with those guys. I think getting to see the ones together is the storyline, and that means on the defensive side too. We now get to see Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker playing those outside positions with a hand on the ground, which is where they should be all along, for a half. So I think there's only one storyline for me. I know there's some guys at the end of the roster that are trying to make the roster. There's still some. They've probably decided on 50 of the 53, right? Somewhere thereabouts. So a few guys have to decide. But for me, there's one storyline. How does this group of ones look when we finally get to see for a half see them play together?
Yeah, it could be a long night for Taylor Heineke.
You would think.
We will see for sure the Falcons' third-string quarterback. Speaking of that offense, Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence met with reporters after practice today. Says he's been blown away by how smart rookie receiver Brian Thomas is at this stage. JJ's got sound for us.
I've been blown away just by how smart he is and how quick he's picked up the offense as a rookie. Because I know I've said it before, when I was a rookie coming in, it was hard. Especially he was very sharp in the spring, just getting here too, and that's hard to do. I know when I got here, I was swimming a little bit just trying to get the play call out. So I've been impressed with him, and he just continues to get better, especially now we've gone through our system 3-4 times. He's getting better and better and not even thinking anymore. He's starting to be able to play and just go out there and react. Instead of thinking about what he's got to do, he can just go play free.
It's getting harder and harder for me, Frank, to say Brian Thomas is just a rookie. I don't expect much.
Yeah, I'm with you. And listen, he's going to drop a big pass. He's going to run a bad route. That's what rookies do. All rookies drop a pass and run a wrong route and make mistakes. You know what else he's going to do? He's going to run by people. I think we've already learned that. Now, that out route he ran with the double move was fantastic the other day, so he already has the route structure down. I can't wait to watch Brian Thomas Jr. I mean that very sincerely. I can't wait to watch him. And again, he's going to run by people, and I think that will be the most significant difference in the offense this year and in many recent years, a guy that can legitimately and will legitimately run by people.
Absolutely. Jaguars second-year right tackle Anton Harrison met with reporters after practice as well. Says he's 100% healthy and a much more confident player than last season. He's somebody we haven't talked much about, who's out with the concussion, but could be in line for a huge second year.
Oh, I think he's going to be a good player. By the way, I think he's their left tackle of the future. I've said that. I'll stand by that. I think he's ultimately their left tackle. But for today and for this year, he's their right tackle. And Cam Robinson's having a great camp, so that's two really good tackles. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things to be excited about. I'm excited about watching him, too. I'm still worried, a little bit more worried about the interior of that offensive line, but I like where they are at tackle.
Jaguars offensive coordinator Press Taylor met with media prior to practice and said he's feeling great about the run game, which is probably the biggest concern. So if that ground game is good, boy, that offense could be really special.
Well, it'll be more diverse, Hays, because I think Tank Bigsby will be a factor now. I think when you've got a legitimate downhill runner, which is what he is, that's a great compliment to a guy that's a more horizontal runner, a guy that can play in space. Airback, as our friend Pete Frisco calls him. You've got one of those in Travis Etienne. You got a downhill runner in Tank Bigsby. But you're right. If they find the running game, to go with everything else they're going to have, look out. But that's a question, too. I question the interior of the line a little bit. I question the running game a little bit. And those two things kind of go hand in hand. But if they get those two things figured out, look out.
Absolutely. The Jaguars have signed a quarterback. E.J. Perry is back. He's been with the organization before, and he will obviously man the position Friday night against Atlanta once Trevor and Mac Jones have been removed from the game. Gives them a little flexibility. Obviously, he's not really part of the long-term plan, but the Jaguars do have a new quarterback in town.
Yeah, they brought him in. I think he got there at 4 yesterday. Went through his physical last night, worked out a little bit today. You know why he's here. EJ knows why he's here. EJ's here to mop up. And so here's what you don't want. Trevor plays 3 series. Mac Jones comes in there. Mac Jones tweaks an ankle, and you got to put Trevor back in. This is the keep from putting Trevor back in move, and E.J. Perry plays the rest of the game. My guess is Mac Jones, here's what I would guess. If it goes according to plan, Trevor plays the half. I don't think you need Mac to play an entire second half. He just played one. So I think he just played an entire first half. I think Mac Jones gets the third quarter, and they probably mop up with EJ. I think that's why he's here.
Let's get it to around the NFL. Frank, you called this earlier in the week, and it is now official. Denver head coach Sean Payton names rookie Bo Nix the starting quarterback for the Broncos.
I think he might be really good. I think he's today's NFL quarterback. He's mobile. He's kind of feisty. I think he might be a really good player. Hays. And boy, this group of rookie quarterbacks. You know he's playing. You know Jaden Daniels is playing. You know Caleb Williams is playing. I think Drake May plays sooner rather than later. Not everybody thinks that. It's going to be a fun group to watch. I think J.J. McCarthy was going to play before he got hurt. So it's a really good group of young quarterbacks.
Nix is a good litmus test, too, because people are kind of wondering, how did the 49ers fall into Brock Purdy? What did we miss? And obviously, it was the experience Brock Purdy had in college. He had started so many games. It'll be interesting to see if that translates over, because if Bo Nix is a successful quarterback for Denver, that will be something I think teams will really start prioritizing, is the number of starts that you've had in college. So it'll be interesting to see how Bo Nix does. He's got a great coach in Sean Payton, and not much is expected for the Broncos this year. So maybe they'll be, who knows, maybe they'll be this year's Texans.
But he might be really good. Here's the one. He might be, because again, in this day and age, when RPO is in play, when quarterbacks don't have to be 6'4", 240 with rifle arms, he's got a good arm. But he's got a lot of pieces. He's got a lot of parts to his game. He's going to be fun to watch.
Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson says he will play in the preseason finale. The 35-year-old failed to generate points on 5 drives in last week's preseason game.
He's an old 35, isn't he?
Boy, I saw that today. I was like, he's 35?
Yeah, he's an old 35. He was an old 33. He was a very good young. You know me, I've been a big Russell Wilson fan, and I haven't really watched many of their preseason games. But I don't know. Justin Fields is erratic. Russell Wilson is old. Their offensive line isn't very good. They lost their center, I think, for the season, the guy they thought was going to be their center. So it could be a tough go for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see.
Let's get to college football. Graham Hall, who covers the Gators for 24/7 Sports, ranked Florida's 16 transfers in terms of expected impact this season for the Gators. He gave the top spot to Jacksonville's Pup Howard, the talented linebacker who came over from South Carolina.
I might have had Joey Slackman one.
He had him 6th. I was surprised he was as low as he was.
Wow, that is low.
Yeah, it was Pup was 1, and then I think DK was 2.
Okay.
And then Asa Turner was 3.
It's interesting that there's 16 of them that can impact the team.
Yeah.
Billy Napier's finally got on board with that. It'll be Pup Howard from Jacksonville, from Jackson High, and a transfer from South Carolina. I want to see more of him, Hays. Everybody loves him. Phenomenal kid. We've had him in studio before. He's 6'4", which is tall for an inside linebacker, 240. He's big, strong, fast, tall. I don't know that I sense he's a tackling machine. I hope I'm wrong about that. I think he'll be a good player, but they love him. I really expected by the time he got to college football, he'd be an edge. He looks like an edge at 6'4", 240, yet he's still playing that stand-up linebacker spot. So, to say the least, he's a very intriguing player.
Yeah, and it's cool just to see. Obviously, he must be having a tremendous camp if Graham Hall is putting him above some of the guys that we mentioned. So I can't wait to see Pup Howard. And boy, do the Gators need some impactful linebackers at that position. It feels like it's been a while since they've had a group there that you felt great about.
Here's the interesting thing. Shamar James is a good player. We saw him at the SEC Media Days. Derek Wingo is one of the players in the mix. Pup Howard's going to start next to Shamar James. but I'm not so sure the two best players aren't those freshmen.
Yeah, Gates and Graham.
I think Antonio. No, not Antonio. Aaron Gates and Ernest Graham's son Miles. I think they might be the two best linebackers on the team. From what my friend Shane Matthews tells me, those two guys might be like really, really good.
That'd be a big difference for this Florida defense. It's really struggled to find its way the last few years. Nebraska has named true freshman quarterback Dylan Raiola its starting quarterback. So how about that? Good for them. You know, you got this great premier prospect. He's a legacy there. Might as well put him right out there. Nebraska, you haven't really been relevant for a while, so why not go with the true freshman?
I'm going to talk later about freshmen because I saw the freshman quarterbacks and how the challenge they face. I'll say this. I said this when he was still a Georgia commit. I thought his high school tape was as good as I ever saw. He looked like an NFL quarterback in high school. Now, I mean, a lot of guys look really good in high school. Carson Beck looked really good in high school. There's a lot of guys, but Raiola looked like an NFL quarterback in high school. Thought he was headed to Georgia, changed his mind and went to his dad's alma mater. He might turn out to be a really good player. It'll be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Let's get into pop culture, where Jennifer Lopez is back on the market, Frank.
How about that?
The 55-year-old J-Lo is divorcing Ben Affleck.
I heard Ben. They've only been 2 years. Ben's devastated.
Yeah.
All Ben's been is good, supportive.
Benifer.
Let me tell all he's done. Support, care, love.
Open doors.
Right. And you know what he gets? You know what he gets his trouble?
Yeah.
Support, care, and love. He gets a divorce.
Was this their second marriage?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. They've been doing this for a while.
For two.
Yeah, it's just not right. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very bothered by it.
Yes.
I mean, I trusted there was hope in that relationship.
Yeah.
Because of that relationship, there was, I don't know, hope for all of us.
Right.
And this is a blow for me.
If
I told you I was taking this, if I just brushed this off my back, I'd be lying to you. Okay. It didn't roll right off my back. This one stayed with me.
This one
just stayed with.
This
Hey, listen,
one
I want you to know I'll get through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I believe you get through stuff like this, but it's not easy.
Because you're Team J-Lo.
Yeah. I'm just not happy with any of it. Okay?
Absolutely. All right. Let's get it to our flashback of the day. It's been 4 years since the biggest legal miscarriage of justice that our country has ever known. Lori Loughlin sentenced on this day back in 2020 to 2 months in jail for bribing college administrators to get her child in school. I call that good parenting.
There's no question.
But Lori Loughlin was treated just terribly.
It's the best. We have the best justice system in the world, but it failed us.
It totally failed us.
It failed us there, and
Lori Loughlin cannot go to prison.
Yeah, in fact, I'm getting all worked up just thinking about it. I mean, the fact that this happened.
I didn't mean to upset you with these last two items.
This has been a hard headline.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, how you put Lori Loughlin. Here's what should happen. The justice system should bonus her and award her. She should sue them for damages.
I agree. Get me
Are
on
you
that
the
shirt.
lady from Full House? Imagine.
What's happening?
Walking in there.
America's sweetheart?
What's happening to our world?
Yeah. I mean, come on. We will get you out on our musical note of the day. So the Crow remake comes out Friday, which I hate that they've remade this movie. The original 1994 movie starring Brandon Lee, it's phenomenal if you've never seen it. The film does have a tragic history, as Lee died during filming when he was accidentally killed by a gunshot during the filming of a scene. Brandon Lee was Bruce Lee's son. But it's a phenomenal movie. The original Crow also has one of the best soundtracks of the last 30 years. It has The Cure, Stone Temple Pilots, Rage Against the Machine, The Violent Femmes, among others. This is Dead Souls by 9 Inch Nails. The soundtrack became the #1 album on the Billboard 200 and has sold over 3 million copies. So this is basically me protesting the remake of The Crow.
Yeah, and because of the tragedy that was part of the making, I'm surprised they're doing it.
I am too.
For that reason.
Right.
Because that movie, it was a good movie, but it's more known for Brandon Lee left us during the filming of it.
Yeah.
It really is. Well said. We'll take a break. Pete Prisco's next, talking NFL. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL gives you the most Jaguars in NFL.
This is all a bit much.
The most Gators in college football.
Forgive me if I take a moment to process it.
Get maximum football on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
This is Hays Carlyon for Harrell & Harrell. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes Holt's in their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harrell & Harrell. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harrell & Harrell at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
This is David Lane. After suffering through several painful injuries to my shoulder, back, and knees, I've taken my issues to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and without fail, they've been a tremendous help towards solving my problems. If you have any orthopedic situations, don't procrastinate. Take action today. Give those aches and pains to the pros at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. You'll be glad you did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
The water heater's broken, disposal doesn't work. Toilet's overflowing, the wife's going berserk. There's water all around me, the faucet sprung a leak. The only way to fix it is to call on Roland Reich, 'cause I got the blues, yeah.
For all your plumbing needs, call on the Bold City's best, Roland Reich Plumbing, and lose the bad plumbing blues.
I got the blues, yeah.
Cold beer and good grub. That's what you'll get at Taps on 210. Just a great neighborhood feel where friends and family get together. Check out Taps in the Winn-Dixie Plaza, just west of 95 on County Road 210, proudly supporting our 9 After 5 weekly. Head there for a cold one.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
This is Hays Carlyon for Sky Life Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Sky Life Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Sky Life Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hacker here with a new opportunity for you. The 20-pound summer slim down with Awaken 180 weight loss. Dropping 20 pounds before summer ends, cruising to your goal of 30, 40, 50-plus pounds down. It's simple. You take the last few weeks of summer, eating, drinking, enjoying the weather, but the difference? You're doing it with the 20-pound summer slim down. But you say, Hack, summer's almost over. Well, that's the point. The pounds melt off fast with Awaken 180. I dropped my first 20 in less time, and that easy 20 propelled me to reach my goal of losing over 85 pounds. Think about it. You're about to slide back into the same old fall routine with the same old mindset. Mix it up. Live up the rest of your summer while dropping the first 20. Then jump into fall with a whole new groove. Yeah, I said it, and you'll be saying it too in just a few weeks. 20-pound summer slim down with the solution for weight loss. Online, awaken180weightloss.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Oh, Gators, Canes, Georgia, Clemson, LSU, USC, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and of course, Jaguars, Dolphins. It is here, and are you ready for the ultimate football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and Casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just click my link, sign up, and you're ready to rock. When you bet with MyBookie, you're not just watching the game, games, you're investing in every moment of action. I'll say it from experience, a few bucks on the line can turn any regular game into one of the most exciting of the season because you don't have to bet very much. Don't forget to use promo code 1010XL when signing up to claim a $1,000 bonus on your first deposit. Again, promo code 1010XL. Get that bonus. Don't let that pass you by. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime, only with my bookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
VSiN's College Football Guide delivers betting previews of all 134 teams with best bets for the playoffs, Heisman Trophy, season win totals, conference winners, and much more. Only on VSiN. Pro subscribers get the full guide, but you can download your free copy of the guide right now. Featuring a betting preview of the Gators, Seminoles, and Bulldogs at 1010XL.com. That's 1010XL.com. 1010XL.com. Download your free copy of the guide right now.
New and pre-owned firearms are in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimber, Smith & Wesson, 6 Hour, Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Only at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
I'm Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. Former Florida Gators wide receiver Chris Doering sat down with the drill yesterday to give some insight to people that are looking ahead into the DJ Lagway era, while Graham Mertz is still the leader of the team.
The thing that not enough people are talking about, and I love the optimism, everybody loves the shiny new quarterback, but this is Graham Mertz's team right now. Everybody believes that there's going to be a package for DJ, that they're going to work him into every game, has no idea what they're talking about. There is a distinct difference between the 23-year-old, 6-year quarterback that you mentioned and the 18, 19-year-old freshman that hadn't played it down in college football.
Graham Mertz, who was very smart with his decision-making last season, gives the Gators a big advantage by keeping the offense on the field if he continues to play smart. While the future is bright for Florida with Lagway, the Gators have a true chance at winning with the experience of a veteran like Mertz. It's 86 degrees at 4:58. Time and Temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On the Frangie Show.
All right, it is time to talk a little NFL with my man Pete Prisco. He's joining us a little bit early this week as I'll be gone the next couple of days. Brought to you by Showtime, the best place for collectibles, I promise you. Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles, located right there in Phillips Tower at the end of Shad Road. If you have a team you root for, they've got a collectible in there for you. I can guarantee you that. Pete, a lot of things to get to. We'll get to the Jags, Falcons in a bit, but Bo Nix named starter today. One more rookie that'll be starting. What do you think of Bo with what you've seen so far?
Well, it's been pretty good. It hasn't been great. I mean, we have a tendency in the preseason to kind of overrate these guys a little bit. It's very vanilla, as you know, and Sean Payton does a great job of scheming it up. But I think he's grasped the offense, which is good. He's going to have some growing pains, understandably. He's not a big arm guy. He's good enough. But they'll find a way to get the ball out of his hands, and I think he'll be okay. I don't think he's going to be great, but I think he's going to be okay in his first season.
What did you make of the Jaguars' performance against Tampa Bay, Pete?
I mean, half the guys aren't even going to be on the team next week. I mean, it's hard to evaluate that, and you guys know. I mean, it's so tough in the preseason to evaluate players, quarterbacks, schemes, the whole deal. Nobody does anything. It's so vanilla, and sometimes you get a starter playing against backups, and he might look good, and the backups aren't even going to be on any team. So it's a tough evaluation. I thought Bigsby did some nice things, ran hard, has had a great preseason. The route that Brian Thomas ran on the sideline was an NFL pro-ready route. I was impressed with that. There's some impressive, Muma played well in his spot when he was there. So, yeah, there were some good things, but it's just such a hard evaluation in the preseason.
What do you want to see this week? Obviously, the Jags are going to play their guys for a half. The Falcons aren't. They're playing backups. But the Jags are going to play their starters for a half just to get work in. Obviously, the first thing we all want to see is health. Don't get hurt in this game. But beyond that, Pete, what are you looking for?
Middle of the line. I mean, again, as they go into the season, that's the major concern on this roster. And, they went and got Mitch Morse, so let's see what he can do in there. And if they're all in together and everybody's playing, are they that much better? I mean, is because they haven't worked together at all. It's been injuries, and Harrison came back last week and did some really good things. He was impressive, but they need to work together. So I think from the most important standpoint and most important aspect of this game is going to be how the offensive line plays. Now, I wish they had the starters in on the other side so you get a real good evaluation, but any work for this group together is a good thing. So that's number one thing I'm looking for is the middle of the offensive line.
Are you surprised the Falcons have shut down Penix?
That makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. And look, why is Bryce Young not getting any reps in training camp? In preseason, that makes no sense to me. These guys aren't veteran quarterbacks. They need to play. They need to get an idea of what it feels like to be an NFL quarterback. And for Bryce Young, he's playing in a new system and a new offense. He needs to play. Some of these teams have gone so far the other way that I think ultimately it's going to hurt them. And again, you got to hit some. You got to be hit. And I said this when I was talking to Josh Allen 2 weeks ago. He said, look, I'm not used to being thrown down. I've been thrown down a bunch, but right now I'm not used to it. So it's good to get in and get hit a little bit. And for these young quarterbacks, it's good to play.
Pete, do you think obviously quarterbacks make more money than ever? Young quarterbacks are playing earlier than ever. Is that really what this is? Is it? I almost get the sense it's let's not get our quarterback hurt. That's A. And for that reason, let's not get anybody else hurt either. We won't play anybody. I mean, it's protecting the quarterback is really what we're doing, right?
Well, I think you're protecting your stars more, as much as anything. Like, Tyreek Hill in Miami, guys like that, they're not going to, they don't play. And Tyreek Hill competes like crazy when he does practice. Yeah. And that's, but no, he doesn't need to play. But a guy like Bryce Young needs to play. New offense, new system, new coach, new players in front of you on the offensive line, new receivers. You got to play. And I just, okay, if it's 3 years down the road and Bryce Young isn't playing, no big deal. But he needs to play now. And so I don't understand it from that standpoint. And again, we go back to Andy Reid. He plays his guys. He plays them all the time. I mean, guys play. And his teams have no problems whatsoever going into the regular season.
Is Deshaun Watson done, in your opinion?
Well, this is a prove-it year. I mean, it's definitely a prove-it year for him. In fact, you guys will appreciate this. I had to do they wanted me to do something yesterday on guys that need to prove it, and I put Trevor on there. Not that I don't believe in him, but because I think the perception around the league is he's got to prove that he can be that quarterback, and Deshaun Watson was another one of those guys. Deshaun Watson makes $230 million in guaranteed. He's played 12 games for the Cleveland Browns, and they gave up 3 first-round picks to go get him, plus other picks. It's a disaster. So this is an enormous year for him. And I think for Trevor, it's an enormous year to prove people that he is that guy. And I think he will. I don't have any doubt about him in my mind, like some people do. But it's still an important prove-it year for Trevor Lawrence.
What did you think of Tua's comments on Dan Le Batard's show about what Brian Flores said to him?
Wow. Come on, give me a break. He coached him hard. Look, Brian Flores is a tough man. He came up in the hard upbringing. He's going to coach you tough, okay? I get it. I understand it. He came from the Belichick tree, and he tried to be Belichick, and he's not Belichick, and that's part of the problem. In fact, I actually had a conversation with him on the sidewalk out at the Combine once, and I said, after he got fired, I said, I think you'll get another shot to coach again, but I think next time, and I'm just my advice from being around the league for 35 years, be you. Don't be somebody you're not, which was Bill Belichick. And he looked at me and he said, I'll take that to heart. And he was sincere about it because I think he tried to be Bill Belichick. Nobody's Bill Belichick. And, Frank, you've been around the Jaguars for a long time. When Kevin Gilbride was there, Kevin Gilbride was an easygoing, accommodating kind of guy as the offensive coordinator. Then he went to the Chargers and he tried to act like Tom.
Right.
You can't do it. You got to be true to yourself. So I think Flores is tough, and he was tough, and you hear stories out there. But one thing about the Miami Dolphins, when Brian Flores was there, they were tough and they overachieved. Tua didn't like it. He didn't like to be coached hard. But here's the problem. Tua was coached by Nick Saban. The Nick Saban coach is hard as can be. So I thought it was weird the way they handled that. I thought Flores did a nice job coming back and saying needs to grow from it and learn from it. But again, Miami Dolphins' reputation, soft. That's a soft kind of comment.
Do you think the Chargers are out of the woods now that Justin Herbert is back at practice?
Yeah, but I still think they got to figure out the give and take with the run game that Harbaugh wants, and Herbert being a guy that can sling it all over the place, and that's going to be the telling stat and data for that team this year is how do they mesh that? Because you went out and drafted another tackle in the first round, so they got 2 bruising tackles. We know what Harbaugh wants to do. You've seen it everywhere he's been. He wants to pound the football. And so how does that work with a guy who's a big arm guy who can sling it all over the place? And so I think that's going to be an interesting thing. But, with Herbert and Harbaugh, one thing about the Chargers, they're going to be physical and violent and nasty because that's the Harbaugh way. So you're going to get that out of them. And if they don't inhibit Herbert that much, I think they're going to be a pretty good team.
Have you seen anything for and I know you hate kickoffs and special teams, I get it, but they are having them. Have you seen anything for the kickoffs that surprised you? Has it gone about like you thought with the new dynamic kickoff, they call it?
You're hearing more and more teams are just going to kick it out of the end zone.
Right.
I mean, I that's, maybe move it, if they really want to do something with it, move it to the 35 or something. That's the way to, you'd prevent that. It would be deterrent to doing that. But, what was it averaging the first week? I think it was 29 yards. And then last week it was a little less, but it's still in that vicinity. So why would you kick it to somebody and let them take it back when you can just boot it out of the end zone and get to the 30 and no risk of the ball coming back? I don't see it what they saw it at. And by the way, the returners are getting pummeled. Nobody else is getting hit, but the returners are getting pummeled. But you will see a lot of stuff on those kickoffs. I think teams are saving it for the regular season, but you're going to see traps on those guys are going to, trap guys as they come running down and think they're going to blast somebody, and boom, you trap them and they kick it out and they go. I mean, you're going to see a lot of creative stuff there. So if you have 2 returners and a creative coach, I think you'll see some things there. But again, just kick the ball out of the end zone.
Hey, we were talking about Jaguars receiver Gabe Davis earlier in the show. What do you think of him?
It's funny. I was watching some Josh Allen tape today because I'm doing something next week comparing Levis and Allen and some of their throws, and there were a lot of Gabe Davis plays where he got behind a defender and made some plays. He's a physical guy. He doesn't, he's not a burner, but he knows how to run down the field and get open. So I like him. I've always liked him. Injuries have hurt him. Inconsistency hurt him. And then you hear stuff out of Buffalo that maybe the Diggs influence wasn't great for him in some aspects. And so I think getting away from that will be good. And he's a veteran now. So I think it's an underrated signing. Is he a superstar? No. But he can go out and get you big plays. And I think that's, if you have that big-time receiver on the other side, Brian Thomas, and you have Kirk in the middle, then you have that other guy, big physical receiver. I think that's a good thing to have.
I think it's a really good room. If Parker Washington, Pete, is what it looks like he is, that's a really good room, man. I mean, I really believe that. I think, listen, and we've had this talk a bunch, they haven't had a good wide receiver room very often. In the early going, they had a great one because they had Keenan and Jimmy, but I'm not sure they've had a good wide receiver room since, Pete. In 25 years, this is year 30 of the team. In the 25 years since, I'm not sure they've had a good receiving room. This one might be as good as they've had. You think so?
Yeah, it's the curse of R.J. Soward.
Yeah, I guess. And the curse of Reggie Williams and the curse of Matt Jones.
Well, no, but that's what I mean. It started with him, though. Once they got R.J. Soward, then it went to Reggie Williams and Matt Jones and all of them, all the way through. It's just never worked out. So I think this is a great room. And Parker Washington might be one of the most improved players in the league. I mean, he's the perfect example of growth of a wide receiver from year 1 to year 2. You can see it in his route running. You can see it in the way he handles himself. He looks like a pro NFL receiver. He looks like a pro NFL slot receiver. And I think that's important for them. So, yeah, I do. I think it's a really good room. They have weapons all over the place. I mean, you're talking about Ingram as a tight end. That guy can do so many things in the middle of the field as well. The running backs, the Bigsby can give him what he's given him in the preseason. They don't want weapons. What they want is to have a better offensive line, and those guys it's all on them. This entire season hinges on the offensive line, particularly the guys in the middle.
We're 2 weeks away, but give us an early thought on the opener, Ravens at Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs are, again, built to win it, and until they take that guy down, then I'm picking them to win it. I mean, it's hard to pick against them, and last year was the year to get them. They were not very good on offense. They had limitations on offense. They don't have limitations on offense now. They can go get it. With the deep ball, they got Worthy can fly. When Hollywood Brown gets back, he can run. I mean, they have guys that can go get the big play down the field, and we know they're a great play calling team. And they're going to be fun on offense, and they have Mahomes. And defensively, Snead's not there, but they have a bunch of other guys, and Spagnuolo does such a great job of coaching that defense and Chris Jones is a game wrecker. You add all that up, and I'll tell you what, and I didn't even mention Kelsey in the middle of the field. You add all that up, they're the team to beat. You know, the Ravens, they're going to be good in the regular season. They have some concerns on the offensive line. Young guys are going to be playing. But here's their biggest hurdle. What do they do in the postseason? You know, that's starting to hang over the head of Lamar Jackson. 2 MVPs, but the postseason isn't great, and he's got to get past that.
Pete Prisco checking in from CBSSports.com again early this week since I'm going to be out here after today. Pete, we really appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Thanks,
buddy.
Where
are you going for your big steak in Atlanta?
Well, you know, we don't know. Bones, maybe? JJ and I were talking about it the other day. We'll find one, though. We went to the Palm last time. We'll find a big-ass steak. We'll all be there, and we'll tell you all about it. I can promise you that.
You got it. Have a good trip.
Okay,
you guys.
Pete, thanks, buddy. Pete Prisco checking in from CBSSports.com. It's brought to you by Showtime, sports cards and collectibles. And one more time now, if you have a fan or a team you root for, if you're a fan of a team, they have something in that place about your team, a signature, an autograph, something that you can't imagine. For collectors, you've had to have been in there by now. You can't imagine how good the place is. Showtime, sports cards and collectibles, located on Phillips at the end of Shad Road. When we come back, you're going to hear from Gabe Davis, the Jaguars' terrific wide receiver. That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Celebrate a new season.
Don't hold nothing back.
1010XL's college kickoff coverage is brought to you by Jenkins Genesis of Northeast Florida and Island Oaks RV Park.
Do not start celebrating too early.
On 1010XL.
Rejoice.
This is Hays Carlyon for Kingfish Pest Control. Are mosquitoes turning your outdoor fun into a full contact sport? It's time to call in Kingfish Pest Control. I can tell you from my own experience, they are the MVPs of mosquito elimination. Call Kingfish Pest Control today and get an unbeatable 50% off your first treatment. That's right, sign up for a full season of lockdown coverage and get 50% off your first treatment. Don't let mosquitoes steal your home field advantage. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Hey guys, this is David Garrard, and I want to tell you about Clearwater Irrigation. They put my new sprinkler system in my new home at Jack's Beach, and I couldn't be happier. Oh, hey John.
What's up, Dave? You know what this means. You're going to have to sing.
Man, I can't sing.
Then you'll fit right in, buddy. Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers. Hit it, Dave.
And drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
Arabian dromedary. That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool. They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
I've known Glenn Coleman for a long time as a friend and a lawyer. Persistent and fair, Glenn and his firm have represented clients from North Florida and South Georgia for over 40 years in all kinds of personal injury cases. If I had such a case, call Glenn at Barnes, Cohen & Sullivan. What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
There's certain places you know if you go in, they got what you're looking for, like Gate Convenience Stores and Cold Modelo's. That's the ticket. Or get on the craft side of things with something from Bold City or Sweetwater. Hit the cooler at Gate, full of choices and all of them good.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass, and he told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
What's the penalty in baseball for a fielder throwing his glove at a batted ball in fair territory and hitting him?
When you call Southern Oak and file a claim, you'll be handled by our hand-picked vendors who will analyze any roof, storm, or water damage. It'll save money for you.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
If a fielder throws his glove at a batted ball in fair territory and hits it, it's scored a ground rule triple.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
I-9 Sports wants to make sure kids all over the First Coast can enjoy growing up on a field or in a gym. And right now, fall and winter registration is open. Find out what I-9 Sports offers across Duval, Clay, and St. John's. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
Hey, we appreciate our friends from Ricketts Electric. Again, they were out at our home yesterday, did all kind of work for them in my little office there, redoing the lighting. They do it all. They're doing some home. They're also fixed our pool light. And then 1 hour later, they're up at Walk-Off Charities, our baseball part, the Bregan Baseball Complex, because we're building out our offices. And, man, they do a good job. Call Zach Ricketts today for any of your electrical needs. I mean, they're the best electricians around. 904-320-5960. 904-320-5960. That's Ricketts Electric. They're going to have an electric receiving core with these Jaguars, and I think Gabe Davis is a big part of it. I was trying to think best receiving rooms. The best one was always Smith McCardell. Reggie Barlow, I guess, was the third guy. Back then, a receiving room had 3 guys, not 6.
Yeah.
But that was the best. After that one, I wanted to say if A-Rob had been healthy, A-Rob, Marquise Lee, Hearns.
Doesn't that speak?
Is that next?
I mean,
is that next?
The fact that it's even, in the discussion, because it might be.
Yeah.
But even if it isn't, the fact that that's
next.
Where you went,
I know,
speaks volumes about how they've never been able to figure out the receiver.
I've tried to go
since Jimmy.
Yeah,
and
I mean Reggie Wilford, Reggie Williams, Ernest Wilford, Matt Jones area. What era could I possibly be missing?
That's the thing.
I can't think of any.
I think it
might have been last year.
In terms of true. But yeah, if you separate from this administration and this core, it might be Allen Robinson, Allen Hearns, and Marquise Lee, which, I mean,
but I'm
I'm
going through the early 2000s. I'm going through. I'm trying to go through the late 90s was the best. We all know that the first core was the best.
Right.
But since that group, I'm trying to go through even receivers that stood out in my mind. Not only just a group of receivers. Talking about wide receivers, not tight ends. I can find very few that I could even group with one other guy. You know, I like what Justin Blackmon would have been. I will say the 17 team that had A-Rob hurt, the A-Rob Hearns Lee team, that might be it. I mean, has there been any sense before this group?
I don't think so. No, and again, then you add a tight end that might catch 100 passes this year.
Right.
So yeah, it's. I would say it's as versatile a group as they've had. It's an incredibly talented group. They've done a nice job also of rounding it out. You know, they talk a lot. Press Taylor, Doug Peterson have talked about the receiver room. You want it to look like a basketball team. You want guys to have different skill sets, and I think they've accomplished that. They've added, I think, some catch radius with Brian Thomas and Gabe Davis. They're very explosive. And then obviously you've got the savvy and precision of Christian Kirk's game. And again, if you add Evan Ingram into that, and then, oh, by the way, a running back that caught 58 passes last year, who they're doing a much better job, I think, at least so far in training camp, of getting him the ball with opportunities to actually make plays with it. It's about all you could ask for in terms of the number of guys. Now, you'd like to see some of these guys become superstars.
Right.
But in terms of quality options, it's very attractive.
And among those guys is one of the new free agents, Gabe Davis, a Central Florida player, born and raised, or born at least, by the way, in Fernandina. Still has family there, played at UCF, had some real good touchdown years with the Buffalo Bills, and now a member of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Gabe Davis, the subject of this Hays Carlyon one-on-one.
We are pleased to be joined with Jaguars receiver Gabe Davis here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Man, it's great to see you. How you doing?
Good to see you, too. It's going good. Got a good day's of work in, so ready to go head over to Atlanta and get the win.
Hard to believe that you guys are getting so close to the end, but you do have an important game against Atlanta, and obviously Doug wants the starters out there. What'll be some things, Gabe, that'll be important for you guys to get accomplished Friday night?
Just execute what's being called. We all know the playbook. They gave us enough time to really study. We've been having our walkthroughs, going through practice, running the same thing over and over again. So just want to look sharp right there. No MAs. Go out there, play some good, clean football, and be able to make some plays as we head out to there on Friday.
Gabe, what's it been like for you? We've been obviously now in camp for about a month. How do you feel like the last month has gone for you individually?
It's been going good, especially for me. Body's feeling good, being able to open up my stride a little bit more, feeling ready to go for the season. Just all around, just every single phase looks great, from special teams to defense, offense. Everyone's flying around, being physical, playing smart, being disciplined. Our biggest thing is to be the most conditioned team out there, and I feel like with what we've been doing here in training camp, Doug has harped on it, making it hard for us, but again, that'll make it easier for us down the stretch.
What's it been like just growing with your teammates in the receivers room, Christian and Brian, and down the line?
It's been good. All those guys are such great guys. I'm so happy to be a part of such a great room that we have. We have a lot of good guys, from the oldest to the youngest. Very young room. Our oldest guy is 27 years old. Pretty crazy, but definitely guys that are ready to go out there and play.
Has this lived up so far to your expectations of when you signed here?
It's honestly better. There's a lot of good guys here. Not gonna lie, in Buffalo, a lot of those guys are my brothers for life. But as soon as I come here, I haven't even played a full year with them yet, and I know some of the guys that I'm already gonna be locked in with for a long time. So it's a big blessing to be closer to home, and then also be a part of such a great team with such great people.
What have you learned about how you fit in with Doug's offense, and anything that's been comforting or anything that's been surprising?
No, they kind of open up the playbook to me, kind of give me, things that I want, that I'm more comfortable with, and then also just move me around too, which I think is big. So the offense has been great. We have a lot of weapons on it, which is awesome. But no, my role here will be something special, for sure.
You guys obviously, I know you got some time before you get to the opener at Miami, but the familiarity that you have with the Dolphins and their personnel, does that help you? Is that an advantage? Is there any tips you can give to Christian and Brian?
Yeah, for sure. Miami's a great team. Obviously, I play them twice a year, every year for the past 4 years. So I got a lot of reps with them. So definitely things I can share with them on how they play. Great defense, physical defense, wants to win. So it's definitely a good competition.
Gabe, what's it like working with Trevor and seeing his growth throughout training camp?
It's great. We over-communicate everything to try to be on the same page. Today we had a look that we talked about, and just being on the same page and having that open communication is so big with you and your quarterback, and to be able to get on the same level and how you think and, where I'm going to be, where he thinks I'm going to be, just getting all that, tuned in.
I know he's not a receiver, not in the room with you guys, but what's Evan Ingram mean to the offense, and what's it been like getting to know him?
Man, I mean, he can do it all. I mean, he can line up outside. He can go inside, do every single route in the route tree. Big hands, strong, physical guy. I mean, don't never know what he's running. He's such a I feel like he's a really underrated player in the NFL because from what I've seen during this training camp, I mean, he's one of the top guys out there.
How are you enjoying Jacksonville in terms of the city and culture and everything like that?
Love it. Nice little beach town over on the east side there. Definitely being in the sun. It feels weird knowing that I'm going to be in the sun in December just because I'm so used to being in the snow.
Right.
So definitely will be a little bit of a transition, but that's just me coming back to home. So,
Gabe Davis, thank you so much for your time, and certainly best of luck to you.
Of course, thank you.
Gabe Davis is 25 years old. He's caught 33 touchdowns in his career if you count playoff games. He scores a touchdown 17.8% of the time that he catches a pass.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
And now he's here.
Yeah, it's pretty. It really is amazing stuff. He is again, it's a good receiving core. It's a very good tight end. By the way, and we don't talk about this, for what they're trying to do on offense, they love their tight end room too. I mean, they number one, they've got one of the best pass catching tight ends in the league. Everybody in this day and age loves to run that 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. They like the fact that Luke Farrell is a very good blocking tight end, and then Brenton Strange is going to evolve into sort of a complete guy. So when their 3 guys are Evan Ingram, Luke Farrell, and Brenton Strange, they like that group. That group never gets talked about. We just talk about Ingram because he's the superstar of that group. But they like the room. They really do. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of investment. All 3 of those are draft picks. Brenton Strange was obviously a 2nd-round pick. Luke Farrell was a 6th-rounder, if memory serves. So, but 3 draft picks. And certainly, or 2 draft picks, Strange and Farrell, and then Ingram is a free agent addition. But looking at it, yeah, I mean, the investment should be there. Evan Ingram, obviously, on a lucrative deal. Brenton Strange, a 2nd-round selection. It does take time at that position. I wouldn't, I wouldn't. I think we're a year away from really being able to make any sort of firm judgment on Brenton Strange. And that's to say he might have a nice year. You hope Evan Ingram stays healthy. But it can take 3 years in at tight end before you really start to see that player blossom. And so I think Brenton Strange has had a good camp. Luke Farrell is a very steady player. I mean, anytime they want that, roll out to him for 12 yards, it's there. I mean, I don't know what the numbers tell you, but anytime they go to it, they get 12 yards. I've always thought it's a good play to just start
I agree.
First 3 or 4 plays of the game because it just gets you in rhythm, and it's always there. It's always open.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So it'll be fun to watch that offense. And again, they play for a half on Friday night. We'll take a break. 1 segment to go in this Wednesday edition brought to you by Ricketts Electric. We'll have it for you after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold & Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Week 0 in college football Saturday in Dublin, Ireland. The Florida State Seminoles, who are ranked 10th in the AP poll, will take on Georgia Tech. The Noles, a 10.5-point favorite, minus 480 on the money line, while the Yellow Jackets are plus 360. Over-under is at 55.5. Other games in Week 0, SMU on the road to take on the Nevada Wolfpack. The Mustangs favored by 25.5 points. SMU minus 4,000 on the money line. Nevada plus 1,400, over-under 56.5. SMU went 11-3 last season. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Did it rain a lot this morning?
No, it was nice and sunny.
Well, the backyard's kind of swampy.
Huh, yeah. Especially where the septic tank is.
Oh, no. When was the last time we had our septic tank pumped?
Don't neglect your septic. Just call Duck Rooter, your local plumbing and septic experts. DuckDuckRooter.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. It's time to get in on the action before these lines start to move. Take advantage of their live betting also, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And if you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to grab a welcome bonus up to $1,000. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Gators are a 2-point underdog in the Swamp against the Canes. The over-under is 54 points. FSU an 11-point favorite over Georgia Tech in Dublin with an over-under of 55.5. And the Jaguars are a 3.5-point underdog at the Dolphins. The over-under is 49 points. There are a ton of cool prop bets as well. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a bonus up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. This is Hays Carlyon from my friend Holt at Harold & Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold & Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold & Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. 2023 football cards are reaching an end, and last month, Contenders football hit shelves. Jags fans can look for rookie cards of Anton Harrison, Tank Bigsby, and Parker Washington. Contenders football mega boxes at Showtime. Sports cards and collectibles. Update your collection.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
I'm Hacker, and Denny Thompson and I will navigate you through the Florida football offseason during the Gator Bites podcast, presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. New episodes drop every Friday. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hey, David again with Royal Pest Services. TAP Insulation stands for thermal, acoustic, and pest control. Keep your home cool, noise out, and pests dead. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free inspection.
Hey gang, Hicken here for Zero Res. Man, it is hot outside this time of the year. Many of us are staying inside or going to the pool. Well, my friends at Zero Res are also heating things up. As you know, Zero Res does a great job of cleaning carpets and rugs. But they also clean luxury vinyl planking, tile and grout, fine stone and hardwood floors. And right now, the hottest price of the year, 25% off all hardwood cleaning. That's 25% off tile, LVP, fine stone, and hardwood floors. Zero Res, man, spell it forward. Zero Res, spell it back. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hi, it's Ben, second generation from Beards Diamonds. Guys, if you're popping the question soon, looking for an anniversary gift, before you buy anywhere, shop Beards. From a half carat to 10 carats, Beards will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
This is Niall Lawrence Stample, former Florida State National Champion and the proud owner of NLS
cleaning. Just like on the gridiron, we tackle dirt and grime with unmatched precision. Whether it's your commercial property or your residential space, we are ready to take care of your exterior cleaning needs. NLScleaning.net.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars acquired safety Darnell Savage from the Packers this offseason to strengthen up the secondary. Savage totaled 9 picks, 2 forced fumbles, and 302 tackles during his 5 seasons in Green Bay. Savage will now line up alongside Andre Sisco here in Duval and brings a versatile role to Brian Nielsen's defense. He should see the field Friday night after recovering from a shoulder injury he suffered last season.
For me, it was just really getting back to playing football the way I know how. Obviously, my time in Green Bay was good. I learned everything I could, and I'm forever grateful for that opportunity, but just being able to just be a playmaker and just move around and make plays in different positions, that kind of thing. I feel like that was a big factor. I feel like we picked the right spot.
I'm Max Fink here with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 87.
All right, where have we been as we cool this thing down around here? We've talked a little bit about Jaguar football. Gabe Davis, you just heard from him. Another terrific interview by Hays. Earlier in the program, Pete Prisco came on to talk all about things all NFL. Brett Hastings was here talking about the eligibility of players who have been paid as they continue to play college sports. A lot of good stuff on the show. That's the cool down. That's where we've been over the course of the program. I teed this up at the start. So the Florida football team looks like they're a decent team. Veteran quarterback, a bunch of returners on the defensive front, a more athletic group of new players, whether they're freshmen or portal guys. It looks like a pretty good team. It looks like a team that in a normal year in a different conference would be an 8 or 9 win team, maybe not a 10 or 11 win team. Because they play such a tough schedule, they look like they're going to be could be anywhere from a 4 to a 6 win team, maybe 7. What pressure is on players? The players read. They know the coach is on the hot seat. They know everybody thinks they're going to fail against this schedule. Now, look, number one, you want it to be a chip on your shoulder, and then that goes without saying, Hayes. But beyond that, you can talk chip on your shoulder all you want, but when you get out there on that field, then it's different. Then there's pressure on you. I think a big part of the Gator football season, a big part is how do they, culture is the wrong word, it's overused, but how do they bond and deal with the psychology of it, and is the pressure too heavy? Because I thought they collapsed to the pressure last year. I thought the more they lost, the more people doubted them. They got worse as the season went on. The team that beat Tennessee was a different team than that team that faded down the stretch. And so isn't that a big part of it? Look, if you've been winning, you find a way to find that because you expect to win. But this is a team that's been losing. And when you've been losing, how do you change the mentality to be a team that expects to win, given all the psychology of this season? I guess that's the question.
I think one thing that helps is the climate that we're in. So Florida's brought in 16 players out of the portal this year, plus you've got your incoming freshmen, which I would assume is 20-something kids. So, basically you've got 40 guys that are new, 16 of which have played college football elsewhere. They don't have the scar tissue that some of these guys have. I think 10 years ago, the coach being on the hot seat would have resonated much more in terms of the pressure, because for all those kids, it would have been, well, this is the guy that I put my trust into, that came into my house and, has been like a father figure to me, and we need to win because I want Coach Napier to keep his job. I think there's a sense of that with guys that are arriving. But if you're coming in from the portal, I think you're more mature for one, and you haven't been connected to this thing.
That's right.
For 3 or 4 years. So in a sense, maybe that's liberating in terms of the pressure as you step into the program. And obviously these players knew when they transferred to Florida what Billy Napier's record was. So, and the thing too about Florida, it all comes down to the 60 minutes of football, assuming we end this in regulation, the 60 minutes of football between Florida and Miami. If Florida wins the game, they don't have to worry about any of that. Billy Napier would have to then lose to basically Texas A&M, probably Kentucky or Mississippi State for his job security to be back in play. So if you just go beat Miami, then I don't think that's even really on the table. Because and you've got all this momentum, and maybe you get hot, and maybe you become one of the surprise stories of the season. I mean, if you lose to Miami, then that's where it's going to be, okay, now how do they handle it? Because now you're going to be looking at that schedule saying 4-8 is absolutely in play, and will they be able to rise above that? Because I don't see Florida losing to Miami and still having a great year. I don't see that. I could see Florida beating Miami and then maybe not having the year they hope to have. But I'd be surprised if it flips, if this is something that we saw in like 84 where Florida lost to Miami early but then got hot. I don't think that happens. If Florida doesn't beat Miami, I think it's going to be awfully hard for them to have the confidence to then go and still pull 6-7 wins out against that schedule.
If they beat Miami, do they go to Knoxville 5-0?
Yes.
I'm probably going to think 4-1. I think so. I think they're going to stumble, whether it's at home against A&M, whether it's at Mississippi State where they haven't played well. But I think they go 4-1. I think they go to Knoxville 4-1. I won't say 5-0, but I think if they beat Miami, who I think is the best team they play in that first five, I think they get to Knoxville 4-1. If they go if they get to 5-0, well then
now you're 12th in the country.
Correct.
Yeah.
And now you're ranked, and you have back to the psychology.
Right.
Then you're not going to lose because you don't believe. You're not going to lose because you're going to think whatever's going to happen, we'll get a bad bounce, we'll lose, something will happen. You're not going to believe that. Then it gets hard. But the good thing about that is, if you go 4-1 or 5-0 when you go to Knoxville, even if you lose in Knoxville, then you probably come home and beat Kentucky. So then all of a sudden, at war, let's say 4-1, 4-2, at worst you're 5-2 when the gauntlet starts. Now the gauntlet's going to be hard, right. But if you're 5-2, and and the gauntlet is Georgia, Texas, LSU, is five straight ranked teams. As of today's poll, 5 straight ranked teams, the lowest of which is ranked 13th. Okay, so five straight ranked teams to end the season. 5 straight ranked teams to end the season. The lowest of which is 13th right now.
Yeah, and you got to find a way to go 2-3.
Yeah, but if you go there 5-2,
right, and you go 2-3 or 7-5, and I think everybody would be like, okay, now you go win your bowl game.
Yeah, and we'll
get to 8 and
again
5, and
of those 5 ranked teams, one of them's Ole Miss, who you get in the swamp.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see. One of them's LSU, who you get in the swamp, and we'll see what FSU is.
Right.
The two that I can't imagine are winnable are Georgia and at Texas.
At Texas is winnable.
Yeah. So maybe
Georgia is not.
If you're any good,
I think
if you're any good.
I think they could absolutely go to Texas and upset the Longhorns.
Yeah. So if you're any good, but the bottom line is that game. But the whole point, and it does tie to that whole Miami game. The psychology of that game. And I'll say this too, JJ. That's probably in play for Miami a little bit too. It's a little bit different because Miami's got an easier schedule after the game. But Miami's got to find some belief too, right? I mean,
and if they lose, I don't think they'll just run through the teams that we expect them to run through. That's just not how it's worked.
You're right.
The guys will hang their heads, and it'll just balloon into something terrible. That's usually how it happens. But yeah, like Hays said, 12th ranked if you guys are 5-0. I mean, that's like
maybe higher,
or 8th ranked.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got your point. For Miami, on the other hand. If Miami even if Miami loses to Florida, I don't know, JJ.
See, how I would look at that if I was Miami is Utah went into this building 2 years ago.
Barely lost
the game.
Had a great season.
And got to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
I don't think losing in that venue in your opener with a quarterback that has never played for you, to me, that is not an indictment on Miami if they lose the game.
I agree. But I don't know if the players will.
Well, that's back. That's right. That's back to the psychology of it.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is, this is Cam Ward's first game for Miami, and although the Gators aren't great, it is a heck of a venue to play in. If you've never played for this program, sorry Pac-12 fans,
Right.
But he had never played in a venue like this.
No.
Maybe Oregon. Or,
It's not.
Yeah. I can't imagine. You're right. Oregon's good, but now, so my point is, I got a hunch Miami and Cam Ward with Miami will be really good, way better than he is in the first game. That doesn't mean they won't win the first game. But again, once he gets the feel of his teammates, right? Graham Mertz has a pretty good idea of how they block. I mean, most of the line is back. The running back's back.
He can probably
Trey
adjust
Wilson's
calls.
back. Right, the tight end's back.
Does Cam Ward have that freedom, and do they have that relationship?
And I don't even know if they're going to be calling a game like they're going to be relying on Cam Ward to do much in this game, honestly.
They honestly should
They got
just
a huge O-line. They got two amazing running backs, at least two.
Yeah.
Like
I think you hit the nail
crowd.
on the head, because that's what Utah did. Utah should have won that game in the Swamp. I mean, they were by far the most physical team.
Right.
And Florida, at the end of that game defensively, was completely out of gas.
Right.
And I think that's Miami's path. Is I know Cam Ward is the superstar, but for this, I would, if I was Mario Cristobal, I'd say I think these guys are soft. The best way to combat this crowd noise is just to hit them in the mouth between the tackles with the ground game. And Florida's got to answer can they handle that?
Especially when apparently, sorry to cut you off, Frank, but apparently their O-line and D-line are like SEC level.
Well,
they're supposed to be as good as anybody else in the nation.
Yeah, here's the point. To that end, here's the point. What if we talk about Florida might be better than we think? For the narrative is Florida's got a little better football team than everybody thinks. Everyone's saying that now. Florida's got a better team than everyone thinks. It's just the schedule's brutal. What if Miami's really good? I don't think anyone thinks Florida might be really good. I think people think Florida might. I think the floor for Florida is those 4 wins. I think most people agree the ceiling is 8 or 9 wins if they have a great season. Miami, the floor is 7.
Ceiling's 11.
The ceiling might be 11 or 12.
Right.
So Miami might be really, really good. So that's the last thing. Sorry, JJ, but that's the last thing we freaking need is all of a sudden they're really good, because they might be. I mean, I agree with what you said, JJ. All the things you follow, that Miami will look closer to old Miami. I'm not saying they're old Miami, but this team will look closer to old Miami in
the trenches for sure.
In the trenches and maybe in the overall athleticism than they have in a long time. And so I mean, back to what we said along, so many storylines. All right, before I get out of here, before we say hello to Rick, this is my last show before FSU Georgia Tech. I'm really looking forward to that one. I think FSU is going to beat Georgia Tech. But I will tell you, there's so many unknowns. Paul Feinbaum said he thinks FSU is not going to be nearly as good as everyone said because they got all new guys. I disagree with him. He's assuming all the new guys aren't good. I think Mike Norvell's figured that part out. I think that he knows how to develop them. I think they're loaded on every front, and I think they're going to have a good team. I think they're going to beat Georgia Tech. But I am intrigued because they're all new. So I'll say this, it's my last time to do radio before that game's played. I'll say FSU 31-21. That'll be my score. But I sense it's 31-21, but I sense it's 24-14, Georgia Tech with the ball in the fourth. Not quite over, right? Not quite over. Early fourth, FSU wears them down, pulls away a little bit. Georgia Tech fights to make it a one-possession game and probably can't do it. Is that the kind of game? That's the game I see.
It is the game I see. I think it'll be a little lower scoring than that. But, yeah, I think somewhere around like 23-13.
Same game.
Somewhere in there, yeah, where Georgia Tech has a chance with 8 minutes left in the game, but Florida State able to close them out. But, we're now 72 hours away. It's here.
And JJ, how do you see that game? What do you think?
I think FSU is going to cover and probably win by at least 2 scores. But I agree that it'll be close for most of the game. I don't think the offense for FSU is going to be, running up and down the field on anyone this season. I'm not a DJU believer, but I think they're just way too fast, big for Georgia Tech. So I would take Florida State. What is it, -11 or something like that?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like 48-10. That's the point. It doesn't feel like 48-10, but it also doesn't feel like they're going to lose.
But if I'm an FSU fan and we only win by 10 points in a conference game to open the season in Ireland, I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm totally ecstatic with that.
Yeah, because, again, Georgia Tech, I'll say it again, Georgia Tech finished the season 4-2, and the 2 losses were Clemson and Georgia. Now, I know Clemson's not old Clemson, but the 2 losses were maybe the best team in the country and one of the best programs in the last 10 years, and they won the rest of them. And the quarterback's back and the running back's back. And let's put it this way. FSU's better than Georgia Tech, and I think FSU's going to win by double digits. But Georgia Tech's going over there believing they have a chance. Every team says they have a chance when they go in every college football game, but I don't know that they collectively believe it. I think Georgia Tech believes it, which makes for a good, well, I think a really good game.
I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I can't wait to watch it.
Let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers, the exclusive provider of BioTarget regenerative therapy for pain. Visit GoBioTarget.com for a location near you.
What about it, Rick? I know you'll make your prediction later in details, but big picture, seriously, a close FSU Georgia Tech game?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you saying? 10, 12 points? Is that what you're thinking?
I think if they win by 10 or 12 points, I'd be very happy.
Right.
You know, if you're a Florida State guy, I know that's where the line is, somewhere between 10.5, 11.5. I think you're a complete fool to bet on this game because you don't know about their offense. This could be a run and stop the run type of game, and if so, it's going to be low scoring and probably one possession, although I've read a lot of stuff today that has said play the over. Play over 56 points. You see 56 points in this game?
See,
we don't know.
I'm not much of a bettor, so I'd be the wrong person to ask about that. But in terms of watching the game, I am of the belief that FSU is back to having really good athletes, fast, athletic, big. But it's a brand new quarterback. It's a brand new stuff, and it is a better Georgia Tech team than they've had in a while. It is.
Problem with Georgia Tech is they can't stop anyone.
Right.
They're a terrible defensive team, especially against the run. They were one of the worst in college football last year. I think it's 5.6 yards they allow per carry. I'm actually going to break down this game coming up tonight, and because Hays and I are on tomorrow. So I want to really look at every angle. But, that is the key, is that Florida State, I think, is a really good run defensive team.
Right.
And you're going to find out in the first 2 weeks because BC comes in, they're a really good run team. And they both have dual quarterbacks that can run the football. So you're going to find out pretty early here about Florida State, what they're made out of.
Lawrence Toafili, by the way, is back for his 18th year.
Yep.
I think he platooned with Greg Allen once upon a time. So
and they better put him in the slot. That's what I'm going to talk about coming up. But this is an interesting year for Mike Norvell, finding a way to get his best players the ball.
Right. Good point. What's
you
coming up
can't
tonight?
play all these guys, fifth-year seniors who can't catch it. Put Toafili in the slot. He's their leading receiver, returning.
Yeah,
he had 21 receptions, and Morlock, the tight end, had 19 receptions.
Yeah, I think Toafili's a good player.
Yeah, he's an NFL player. I agree. So we have that. We'll relive today's Jaguars practice as well. Caught up with Ventrell Miller after today's workout. So we'll play that coming up here over the next couple hours.
All right. Very good, Rick. Thanks, buddy. Rick Ballou goes into the night right now. You and Rick will have it tomorrow.
Yeah, have a safe trip.
We will have no show on Fridays. We get set for Jags and Falcons, and I'll be back in on Monday to talk all about it. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. Don't go anywhere. Rick Ballou is next. This is 1010XL at 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show.